Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak Fluent with Armeen. If you tuned into our last episode, you will know we covered 6 effective ways to build your English fluency. Donald and I shared some practical tips like making English part of your daily life and practicing active listening to help you become more confident and fluent in your conversations.
And if you missed it, don't worry. You can always go back and check out part 1. But today, we're diving right back in with 6 more powerful strategies that'll bring you even closer to speaking English like a pro. So grab a notebook if you can, and let's get started.
7. Understand grammar but don't get stuck on rules. Learn grammar through practice. Avoid over-analyzing grammar rules. Instead, pick up grammar intuitively by reading, listening, and speaking. Over time, common structures will feel more natural. Use grammar apps or resources when needed. Apps like Grammarly or platforms like Cambridge Grammar help clarify grammar points when needed, but avoid excessive focus on perfecting grammar at the start. Focus on essential grammar. Certain grammar points are fundamental, like the present simple, past simple, and common tenses. Mastering these basics allows you to communicate well in most contexts without getting tangled up in complex rules.
Alright, let's dive right into our 7th method. This is a big one. Understand grammar, but don't get stuck on rules. A lot of English learners worry about getting every single rule right, but in reality, focusing too much on rules can actually slow you down.
Exactly. Grammar is essential, but spending all your time analyzing it is not the best way to reach fluency. Think of it like learning to drive a car. You don't need to know every single detail of how the engine works before you start driving. You just need the basics and practice on the road.
Absolutely. The idea here is to learn grammar through practice. When you are reading, listening, or speaking, your brain starts to pick up common grammar structures naturally. For example, if you regularly listen to English podcasts or read English articles, you will begin to recognize sentence patterns like I've been or I did without even thinking about it. Those structures will start to feel natural.
And if you do find yourself a little uncertain, there are great tools to support you, like Grammarly or Cambridge Grammar. These are resources you can turn to when you're stuck. They'll give you a quick reminder, and you can move on without getting bogged down. But be careful not to rely on them too much, or you'll end up overanalyzing.
That is such a good point. We suggest focusing on essential grammar, things like present simple, present perfect simple, and maybe a few common tenses that are used every day. For instance, knowing how to say I went or I go covers most basic conversations, right? Mastering those core structures helps you communicate effectively without needing to know every grammar rule.
And remember, grammar is something you refine as you go along. Perfect grammar isn't a requirement to start speaking fluently. Once you're comfortable with the basics, the more complex grammar structures will start to fall into place over time.
So true. Letting go of perfectionism with grammar can actually make your language learning journey a lot more enjoyable. So, shall we move on to the next tip?
8. Use a multi-sensory approach. Read aloud. Reading out loud allows you to see, say, and hear English at the same time, reinforcing vocabulary, pronunciation, and structure. Write and edit. Write short paragraphs or diary entries in English and review them after some time. Editing your own work helps reinforce language structures and vocabulary, and if possible, get feedback from a native speaker or teacher. Engage your visual memory with mind maps. For vocabulary, create mind maps that group related words. Visual connections can help make words more memorable, especially for learners who are more visually oriented.
All right, so moving on to number 8. Use a multi-sensory approach. This strategy really helps you engage with English on multiple levels, making the learning process deeper and more effective. Let's break down each technique in this approach.
First up, reading aloud. This is a simple but powerful exercise. When you read aloud, you're combining visual learning, reading the words, with auditory learning, hearing yourself say them. Imagine reading a passage from a book or an article. As you read aloud, you might come across phrases or words you don't often use. By saying them out loud, you are reinforcing the sound, the pronunciation, and even the sentence structure.
Exactly. A practical example is reading aloud a paragraph from a novel or a news article. If you read, let's say, "The sun set over the horizon, casting a warm glow over the landscape," you're not only visualizing the scene but also working on your pronunciation, fluency, and rhythm in English. And if you practice daily, this habit builds a stronger connection with the language.
Great point. Next is write and edit. When you write, it could be anything from a short diary entry to a summary of your day. The key is to focus on expressing yourself in English without worrying too much about mistakes at first. Later, go back and edit what you wrote, trying to spot any errors or awkward sentences.
Yes, writing about your day might look like this. Today, I went to the park and enjoyed a relaxing afternoon. I met a friend, and we had a great conversation. Then, after a day or two, review it. See if you can improve any sentences like, "I met up with a friend, and we had an amazing chat." Making small improvements helps reinforce grammar and vocabulary patterns.
And the last one in this group is engage your visual memory with mind maps. Visual learners, in particular, will benefit from creating mind maps. Let's say you're learning vocabulary about cooking. Start with the central word cooking and branch out with related words like ingredients, recipes, cooking methods, and so on. Each branch can further break down into more specific terms.
Yes, a mind map can make a complex vocabulary set easier to memorize. With ingredients, for example, you could branch into categories like vegetables, spices, dairy, and under each list some common items. By seeing everything visually connected, you're more likely to recall the words when you need them.
This multisensory approach brings together reading, speaking, writing, and visualization. By practicing these skills together, you strengthen your overall English ability.
Perfect. So with that, let's continue to the next part.
9. Track your progress. Keep a language journal. Document your journey by noting words or phrases you've learned, challenges you've overcome, and goals you've achieved. This record becomes a great source of motivation and shows you how far you've come. Record yourself. Speaking. Try recording yourself reading a passage or giving a short speech. Over time, you'll hear improvements in fluency, pronunciation, and confidence. Measure milestones. Set measurable milestones such as understand a news article without a dictionary or talk with a native speaker for 10 minutes. Reaching these milestones is proof of improvement and motivates you to continue.
So, let's dive into method number 9, track your progress. This one is essential because it not only helps you see your growth, but it also keeps you motivated. A good start here is to keep a language journal.
Absolutely. A language journal can be a simple notebook where you write down new words, phrases, or expressions you've encountered, along with any obstacles you've faced. Let's say you found the word meticulous. You'd write it down, then maybe jot down a sentence using it, like, "She's very meticulous in her work." Over time, flipping back to earlier entries lets you see just how much vocabulary you've gained.
Another idea is to record yourself speaking. Choose a short text like a paragraph from a book and read it aloud. When you listen to the recording, you will start to pick up on things like mispronunciations or areas where your fluency could be smoother. Then come back to the same text a month later and you will notice the difference.
Right. It's a fantastic way to track your pronunciation and flow. Plus, hearing your own voice improve builds confidence.
Lastly, measure milestones. Set realistic, measurable goals. For example, challenge yourself to understand a news article without needing a dictionary, or have a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker. These are concrete goals you can check off when you achieve them.
And those milestones show you real proof of improvement. They give you that, "Yes, I'm progressing" feeling, which is so encouraging.
Alright, let's keep this momentum and continue to the next part.
10. Stay persistent and enjoy the process. Accept imperfections. Mistakes are part of the learning journey. Instead of avoiding errors, see them as valuable learning moments. The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make over time. Celebrate small victories. Whether it's completing a challenging exercise, holding a conversation, or understanding a joke in English, celebrate each step forward. These small wins keep your motivation high. Remind yourself of your purpose. When motivation dips, remember why you're learning English, whether it's to travel, study, work, or connect with people worldwide. Keeping your purpose in mind will keep you moving forward, even on challenging days.
Okay, so we're at the part where persistence plays a huge role in mastering English. Let's dive into each point here. First, accept imperfections. Donald, I think this one is huge, because so many learners feel pressure to be perfect from the start, right?
Exactly, Armin. And here's the thing. No one, not even native speakers, speaks perfectly all the time. Think about it. Even professional speakers or teachers occasionally make slip-ups. If we were to avoid speaking just to dodge mistakes, we'd never improve. Instead, it's about seeing mistakes as stepping stones.
Absolutely. For instance, let's say you're trying to order food in English. If you make a little mistake, like saying I want a pizza with chicken and cheese, instead of I would like a pizza with chicken and cheese, it's okay. You have communicated your point, and next time you might remember to use I would like to sound more polite.
Right, those little errors are helpful. They guide you on what to work on next. Now, the second point. Celebrate small victories. This one can really help build confidence over time.
Definitely. Let's say you understood a complex sentence on a show, or you made it through a 10-minute conversation without switching back to your native language. That's worth celebrating. It's like working out. You don't see results immediately, but those small wins add up.
Exactly. It's those small achievements that remind you, hey, I'm actually making progress. Even something like laughing at a joke in English or finishing a book chapter counts. All right, last one here. Remind yourself of your purpose. What do you think, Armin?
This is crucial. When you know why you're learning English, it's a lot easier to stay focused. So if your goal is to travel, picture yourself confidently asking for directions. If it's for work, imagine having fluent business discussions. Keeping your purpose clear can really keep that motivation alive.
Exactly. Visualizing that end goal. And don't worry if it takes time. Progress might feel slow, but every day brings you closer to reaching it. All right, how about we continue to the next part?
11. Find fun and motivation in the learning process. Gamify your learning. Use apps like Duolingo or Memrise, which incorporate elements of game design to make learning enjoyable. These apps keep you engaged with points, streaks, and levels. Practice with fun media. Sing along to English songs, follow English-speaking influencers on social media, or play games in English. These activities make learning feel less like studying and more like a natural part of your daily life.
So we're diving into method number 11. Find fun and motivation in the learning process. One of the most effective ways to do this is to gamify your learning. This means turning language practice into something enjoyable and rewarding, almost like a game. For example, you could use apps like Duolingo or Memrise. These apps are designed with fun elements like points, streaks, and levels, so instead of just studying vocabulary, you're working to beat your previous high score or maintain a daily streak.
Exactly. And the great thing about gamification is that it keeps you coming back because there's a sense of progress. Every time you complete a lesson or reach a new level, you get that small reward feeling. It's like a boost of motivation. Plus, these apps often have leaderboards or friend options, so you can see how you're doing compared to others.
And if you prefer a more immersive experience, you can practice with fun media. For instance, try singing along to your favorite English songs. Pick songs with clear lyrics. Maybe start with something slower, like a ballad or acoustic song. Singing along helps you improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and even understanding of how words naturally flow together.
That's a fantastic tip. And not just songs. You could follow English-speaking influencers on social media. Many influencers share their day-to-day lives, so you're not just learning words. You're learning real conversational phrases, slang, and even cultural context. Plus, it's fun to follow people you actually enjoy watching.
Yes, and gaming is another option. Many popular games have dialogues, instructions, and online communities in English. For example, if you are into online multiplayer games, you are likely to interact with English-speaking players. It's a fun, social way to practice without feeling like you're studying.
Exactly. These methods make English feel like a natural part of your daily life instead of just something you have to study. All right, let's continue to the final part.
12. Consider professional guidance when needed. Take online classes. If you're struggling with specific aspects of English, consider joining an online course. Platforms like italki and Cambly connect learners with experienced teachers who can provide personalized guidance. Enroll in intensive programs or language camps. If you want to improve rapidly, consider immersion programs or language camps. Many organizations offer intensive courses where you speak only in English for days or weeks. Seek feedback from native speakers. Constructive feedback is crucial to improving. Platforms like Speak Fluent with Armין provide insights into conversational English, which can help you gain confidence and fluency. In summary, achieving fluency in English is within reach, but it requires consistency, goal setting, and the willingness to immerse yourself in the language. With dedication to daily practice, engaging with native and fluent speakers, and continuously challenging yourself, fluency becomes a realistic and attainable goal. Embrace mistakes, celebrate progress, and keep the journey enjoyable. With these strategies, you'll find yourself speaking fluently in English sooner than you may think.
Let's start with online classes. They are such a fantastic way to connect with professional teachers, especially now that there are so many platforms like italki and Cambly.
Absolutely. What I love about these platforms is the flexibility. You can schedule lessons whenever it works for you and get matched with native-speaking teachers who can focus on your specific goals.
Right, for example, let's say you're struggling with something like the difference between make and do. A teacher can help you practice those in real-life context, giving you immediate feedback.
And that personalized attention is priceless. You can ask questions like, why do we say make a decision but do your homework? And the teacher can break it down for you in a way that makes sense.
It's true. Online classes are like having a language coach in your pocket. Now, if you're looking for something more immersive, Donald, what do you think about intensive programs or language camps?
Oh, they're incredible. Imagine spending an entire week or even longer fully immersed in English. You wake up, have breakfast, do activities, and chat with others, all in English. It's like living in an English-speaking country for a short time.
Exactly. And the progress you make in just a week can be amazing because you're practicing constantly.
Plus, they're a lot of fun. You're not just sitting in a classroom. You're engaging in real-life conversations, doing interactive activities, and building confidence every single day.
And let's not forget the friendships you make at these camps, learning English while bonding with others. It's a win-win. Lastly, we have one of the most underrated but powerful tools: feedback from native speakers.
Oh, for sure. When you're learning, it's hard to catch your own mistakes. Having someone point out those little errors and show you the correct way can really speed up your improvement.
Let's say you tell someone, I need a good sleep. They might suggest saying, I need a good night's sleep. That small tweak makes your English sound more natural.
And platforms like Speak Fluent with Armין, hey, that's us, can give you plenty of opportunities to practice and get real-time feedback from native speakers.
Shameless plug, but it's true. Constructive feedback helps you fine-tune your skills and boosts your confidence. So, let's recap. Achieving fluency isn't just about studying grammar or memorizing vocabulary. It's about consistent practice, setting goals, and being willing to seek professional guidance.
Exactly. Whether you take online classes, enroll in an immersion program, or simply get feedback from a native speaker, you're investing in yourself and your fluency journey.
And don't forget, mistakes are part of the process. Every slip-up is a chance to learn and improve, so embrace them. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Speak Fluent with Armeen. If you found this helpful, share it with your friends, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a review. It means the world to us.
And remember, you've got this. Keep practicing, keep pushing, and stay consistent.
We will see you next time. Until then, stay fluent.